Hello class, sorry my internet it's missing from the entire day. Supposedly to be back on the afternoon, so I don't want to fall with you, so I am recording the classes so you get to get the information at least today. Just to make a quick review of our last class, okay, I'm going to upgrade 2 videos. The first one is going to be to finish all of the content we didn't saw on our last class, and the other one for the new content. Okay, this one is going to be very brief, so just we can make a review. And okay, so talk about what it is biology, how to define life. Remember, life has the ability to be born, grown, metabolize, respond to external stimuli, reproduce, and finally to die. And we talk about the organization. This is very important because our next subject is going to be very related to how living things are organized, and we will try to keep this road about talking from the smallest to the biggest, okay? In our next class, we're going to talk, for example, about atoms, molecules, and macromolecules, and we're going to keep escalating like that. So we talk about also the ecosystem and how living and non-living things interact, which is the definition of ecosystem. And we talk about that the most important thing that we're going to study basically is how energy is being moved, okay? Energy equals food in this case, and how it's been moving through all of the ecosystem, from the smallest atom to the biggest communities. We talk also about acquiring materials and energy to do this thing we call metabolism, which is basically all of the chemical reactions that will happen inside of your cells. And this is how we get all of the energy and how we get to do all of the things that we do in a regular life. It will all depend on the metabolism of the cell. Meaning that it would all depend on how we process the energy and all of the things that we can do based on the energy, meaning based on all of the nutrients that we get. And the smallest or the simplest way of getting energy from the smallest organism, or the basic organisms in this case, will be through the sun, by our producers that have the ability of transforming solar energy into food that we're going to use as consumers to get the energy from, okay? Very important to know that not only plants are the producers, but there are some bacteria that also have this capability of making photosynthesis, meaning transforming sun energy into food, into nutrients, okay? And also by this they do, or they release another subproduct that is very, very important for us, which is the oxygen, okay? We also talk about why we need all of this to keep our stability, okay, to keep the balance by a process called homeostasis, which is basically to keep the balance in our body. And we do that by responding to several stimuli, okay? Remember, one of the topics about considering something a living thing is that it will respond to stimuli, okay? And one of the stimuli will be to react to what happens surrounding us so we can survive. Also, living things are able to reproduce and develop, okay? Life comes only from life, okay? You need a living organism to create another living organisms, and we do that by transmitting information also to our offspring by our DNA. And this is what we didn't get to see on our previous class, which is what is DNA. DNA, as some of you said, was basically all of the information about who we are, okay? Our DNA contains all of the information about what makes ourselves unique. Even though we have the same or very, very equal DNA between all of the members of one species, okay? Me, my mom, my dad, my brother, and yourself, we all share the DNA of the species Homo sapiens sapiens, okay? But we have very small small differences that will make each one of us unique, okay? The only ones that can actually have the exact same DNA are twins, okay? However, the environment and how you grow old and how you develop will somehow change not the content of information, not the DNA, but they will change how the DNA expresses, okay? So there are many experiments that said, for example, that if I have a twin and we have the exact same life, but I like to eat junk food, for example, and my twin likes to eat all natural food, probably even though we share the same DNA, I will be more prone to developing, for example, diseases like diabetes, okay? So as you can see, how we live or all of the decisions that we make regarding our body will change the way our DNA is expressed. So even though I have the same DNA as my twin in this case, we will react different because of the way that we live. For example, if my twin starts to develop or study more and became more like a study person, and I became more like an exercise person, I will develop or I will change the expression of my DNA, and maybe it will be easier for me to lose weight or get muscles, and for her it will be easier to solve math equations, okay? So even though the DNA is the same, in the case of twins, it will be expressed differently because of the way that we have developed our lives, okay? I don't have a twin, by the way, but just for you to understand this example, okay? So DNA will contain all of the information of each one, okay? And this is very important because this will lead to adaptations, okay, which are modifications that make organisms function better in a particular environment. One of my best or my favorite example for adaptations are penguins, okay? They have adapted completely to survive in very, very extreme circumstances. For example, they have this special kind of leather skins, okay, that allows them to have a waterproof coat, okay? They also have changed their paws, okay, their feet for saying something, and they have flattened wings that help them to swim better, okay, that other birds don't have. And even though they cannot fly because they have changed their wings in this case, they serve them to swim better, okay? And also they tend to accumulate a lot of fat so they can survive and they can resist very, very cold temperatures, okay? So adaptations are not the same as evolution, okay? An adaptation is something that a species do. Like if we go to a very cold temperature, we'll get adapt to it, okay? But we don't change our DNA to do this, okay? But if we expose something for many, many millions of years and a random mutation can occur, okay, and this mutation will lead to a change on the DNA. This change is what we call evolution, okay? So evolution, it's definitely not Pokemon. Evolution basically it's changing in DNA, okay? It's how populations and organisms change over many generations to a better adaptation to their environments, or sometimes it doesn't have to do with adaptations but just random mutations, okay? And evolution constantly changes the shape of species, providing a way for organisms to persist despite the change in environment, okay? So you need to make sure that evolution or these changes in DNA normally happen randomly, okay? It doesn't happen like Linnaeus said that they change because of their adaptation, but during very long periods. And when I say very long periods, I talk about hundreds and millions of years, okay, which will lead to these changes in DNA that normally they are very, very rare, okay, and those we're called mutation. I want you to remember a little bit also about the scientific method, okay? Observation, question, hypothesis, experiment, analysis, and conclusion. This is very important because it's what we're going to use for all of the cases that we're going to see. The first one is regarding observation, meaning that you have to make a specific observation of one event that you want to study. Like for example, imagine you're working with plants and you see that one of your plants have squishy soil and the leaves are brown, okay? So you start making a question like, why is this happening if I'm watering the plant all of the time but it's still dying? So you make an hypothesis, okay, so I'm seeing the soil and it's kind of squishy and dark, so maybe I'm overwatering it. So you make your hypothesis saying, my plants need less water, probably it will need to be watered twice a week. Okay, so you make the affirmation, the plants only needs to be watered twice a week. Then you start making your experiments based on your hypothesis. And for example, I will have one plant that have water just once a week, once, twice a week, and the other one will have water every single day. And I will keep doing this for a month. After a month, I will analyze all of the results, okay? And I will see, oh, the plant that I add water 2 times a week probably is looking better than the others. So then I will make my conclusion. And I will say, oh, this specific type of plant only needs water twice a week. Okay, so that's how you put this into the scientific method. And you can not only use this for experiments with plants, animals, whatever, but you can use this with every single thing. Like for example, imagine you're working in a marketing strategy and you're saying, oh, I am posting every single day and I don't see the difference between days. So I'm going to make a question. Is it maybe one day that will gather more clients than the others? So I'm going to make an hypothesis. Okay, I think that Wednesday is the best day to publish things on my social media. So I'm going to make an experiment, okay, and I'm going to see how is the behavior of every single day that I post. Then I'm going to analyze the data. You have a lot of softwares and even the social media give you this information, and you can see which day you get the better reactions or the better shares or the better likes, okay, from your clients. And then after you finish analyzing all of the information, you jump or you do a conclusion. And you say, definitely Wednesday was the best day to post about this topic. Or maybe you want to choose your target. You're going to use the scientific method for every single thing in your life. So it is very important that you know the steps, because if you jump to a conclusion before analyzing the data or before experimenting all of the possible options you have, you might get the wrong results, okay? So you will use this in everything, I assure you. You might be using it now, but you don't realize it's the scientific method. So the most that you know the organization, it will be better for you to try to organize and get better results, and therefore better conclusions, and therefore more sales if you are in marketing or if you're in administration also. Okay, so try to stick this method to your head so you can understand better how, or you can try better next time you want to make your experiments on life in general, okay? Also, to talk back about science, I wanted to let you know that science, even though sometimes you think, oh, why am I studying this? Why am I studying this if I am a marketing, administration, international business student? Because science is everywhere, okay? Science is in every single decision you make every single day. Science is in what vaccine are you going to get? Science is in, is it really necessary to do quarantine again? Science is in, am I buying a GMO tomato, or am I buying organic tomato. Science is it true that without gluten and without lactose means that it's skinny? Well, not. Okay, science, it's everywhere. And it's a very, very important weapon that you can use to optimize everything in your life. Okay, it will go from I don't know, the diet of your cat or your dog, ecosystem, and as I said, in every single thing, especially now that we're seeing the true importance of knowing how to understand scientific data to make decisions, in this case for the entire country or the entire world. Okay, you have seen that one virus changed the entire world in over a year. Okay, so it is very important to know how to take all of this data and take or make the better decisions. Okay, so GMOs, if you didn't know what they mean, they are genetically modified organisms, like basically all of the fruits and vegetables you see on the supermarkets. They have, most of them have been modified. They have modified their DNA to make them last longer, be more beautiful, or to taste better. All of the tomatoes that we know are GMOs. Okay, and if you've seen like a wild type tomato, you will see that it is very small and not so cute to look at, and the taste is not the same as the taste that we know from tomatoes, and this with almost all of the things that we consume. In some countries, they consider GMOs as like the villain, and they are trying to forbid them because there are no real studies of how they will impact in our health in the next 50 years, for example. We don't know if we're all going to get cancer because we ate a lot of GMO tomatoes. But there are studies saying that it might not be as a villain as we thought. So people are kind of like being more open to GMOs. And as I said, most of the people have no idea they're eating GMOs. And we need to know how to deal with this kind of information, as I said, to make decisions. Okay, and a lot of scientific or terms are being used to also try to fool people. Like, for example, they sell you things without lactose, making you think that it's going to be healthier. Actually not. All products that doesn't contain lactose are way more sugary. Okay, they have way more sugar than a product that has lactose. So this is only for people that cannot tolerate lactose. Also, they are selling a lot of non-gluten products saying, this will make me look skinnier. No. Products that doesn't contain gluten normally contains another replacement to create this kind of like squishy feeling of bread, for example, which actually will make you gain weight way faster than if you consume just a normal bread. And like that, there are a lot of things that people try to justify with scientific names, like when they use the word detox. We're going to talk about this later, but detox, it's not a real word. Okay, nothing, absolutely nothing that they're selling as detox is actually detox. The only way you can get rid of toxins in your body is actually by just going to the bathroom and peeing and drinking water. Okay, so the only detox product in the world, it's water. Okay, so every other thing that they're selling you is actually a lie. And also, it is very important to change this culture of science based in movies that said that scientists are mean and stuff like that. Actually, I think this virus came up with a good view of the scientists in most ways. A lot of fake information too. But as I said, it is very important to change it into a science business, which is what I want to present to you with this class. Okay, so we need to change it into try to make how can I make business with science. And it is very important to realize that science has a very, very influence or very influential way into technology and society. So we're going to try to talk about this during this class. And just for you to know about your research project and final exam, I'm going to explain you this better when we have presential classes, okay? But just like I told you in our last class, it's going to be about you presenting a scientific article, okay? So these are the requirements that I need you to check for the article. Maximum 10 years. It must be an English article, okay? No Spanish article. And you must present an abstract, and then you make a presentation in which you need to include the introduction, goals, methodology, results, conclusion, and we will have 5 minutes to discuss each one of your articles. Okay, it's going to take probably 2 days of final examination. You can search for scientific articles on PubMed. You just put the topic you would like, click on search. The web has changed a little bit. I choose in this case, for example, about wolves population, and then you just go and search for the articles that are free. You download them, and then you can just use them to present. Okay, this is the button you can click on to download all of the articles that are free. And you have already done the homework last week, so I'm going to upload now the other video to explain the topic of this week. See you in the other recording.